So everybody is still coming together to roast Marvel, and it's well deserved. Every day I see new videos on it, and I'm glad the pressure is on with them because they've pretty much destroyed the comic book industry. Like I said, I don't think the comic book industry is going to come out of this. Everything that's going on right now, I don't think they're going to come out of this unscathed. I think I think the comic book industry is likely to shut down, and it's because of stuff like New Warriors, and it irritates me because, a medium that I like is probably done because Marvel wanted to chase this phantom audience that's never going to show up. I don't get who these comics are for. They're not for anybody. Nobody wants these. Nobody wants these. This comic will not sell. I showed you in a previous video how one of the books that is pretty much being marketed towards the same audience they're trying to market with this New Warrior stuff, that book fell to 6,000 sold issues. Shipped issues, I'm sorry. We don't even know how many actually sold. We just know 6,000 something were shipped to comic book stores. Theoretically, 6,000 of those comics could still be sitting around unsold. I guess, if you do need toilet paper, I guess New Warriors could work theoretically. It'd be a little rough, but it would work. Then we have Children of the Atom. This is doing terribly as well. This is pretty much the checkbox squad. Okay, all they did was swap out characters for different races and stuff like that. Then we got like Fat Jean Grey there. Did a video on that. Had fun roasting this one. This is lazy. This comic's for nobody. It's just destroying the story that Jonathan Hickman is trying to tell. Just some guy here in the corner did an excellent video on that, by the way. You should go watch it. New Warriors, by the way, 135,000 dislikes to 3,000 likes. Pretty glorious, and I love it. This should show you. And I heard that this made the front page of a UK newspaper. Now, that's pretty funny. So what prompted me to do this video is two things. The first being that Marvel is going over how they're going to help shops, which is a joke, because the second one, which correlates with that one, is this Spider-Woman relaunch. So last week, they relaunched Spider-Woman. So we got a new Spider-Woman #1. Now, last time Spider-Woman had a comic book, she was pregnant and fighting crime. 9 months pregnant. It's real. It really happened. Nobody bought the book because it was super cringe. Because nobody that writes these books have kids, or if they're a woman, have had kids. So they have no idea what it's like. But they think that having a woman fight crime in New York City during a Skrull invasion is empowering, when really it's bad parenting. So she was running around, full pregnant belly, in her superhero costume, fighting crime. Not even making that up. That's why it's on the thumbnail, because it's real. And it's what Marvel's been doing for really the past decade in a lot of ways. They just have ramped it up over the past couple of years, big time. So they relaunched the book. I don't know why. If you're going to do it like this, what's the point? Because no one's going to buy it. So you go pick this book up and you get pretty much a book talking about Xism and all of this stuff. So I'm going to go over this thread that breaks this book down pretty nicely. And you tell me if this is a book that you would be interested in buying if you don't read comic books. So in this week's new Spider-Woman #1, Jessica Drew is irritated with a teen dressed as toxic masculinity. Deadpool decides to bag on the handicapped birthday host. The solution? Toss the kid off the ship and into the open water. So he comes up here bagging on the host, who I guess is disabled, and she decides to throw him off the ship. A kid. This is a superhero acting like a brat. The superhero's acting worse than the bratty kid. And then after being forced off the ship by the bad guys trying to kidnap the rich girl, Jessica, this is the identity of the woman who is Spider-Woman, comes across the boy she tossed off the ship, who calls her a girl. This provokes an "it's ma'am" response from the enraged Spider-Woman, who picks him up and then throws him again like this because he's holding onto that chain. And he ends up being launched like a javelin. So Drew proceeds to use the boy as a human javelin to subdue the bad guys while lecturing him on being an exist and not being handy sensitive. And you can see what she says right here. And if I ever hear you say cripple or exist again, or exist B something again, I'm tossing you by the blank, probably his male parts. Very nice. That's definitely something that you say to children if you're supposed to be the responsible, heroic person. That's definitely the way to go. So she then, a couple panels later, proceeds to make a xenophobic comment at the kidnapper, who is French, and then blow up his helicopter, which may or may not have his buddies inside. And you can see here, and she blows it up. This is definitely a very heroic thing. She then vomits all over the ship with an explosive green goo that also comes out of her eyes and ears. Spider-Woman #1, everyone. 5 of 5. Who is this for? And by the way, she looks like she took Superior Spider-Man's costume, by the way. Very original. Very original. So now she needs a nurse after pretty much abusing a little kid and brutalizing the bad guys. She's supposed to be a hero. This is Marvel comic books. This is Marvel comic books. So you see this stuff, and then you see this and this, and you know that this isn't that crazy of an idea. So yeah, this is high quality stuff right here. Wow, I sure do want to pop my $5 on, because don't forget, this is the #1, so they jacked the price up. It was probably like $6. So this isn't for anybody. These aren't going to sell, okay? These books, before, when everything was slowly declining, you could have maybe turned the ship around. But the way things are going right now, there's no turning this dead ship around. This thing is heading straight into an iceberg. And like I said, I don't know if the comic book industry survives. I don't know if it can. If we go into a deep, deep recession, I highly doubt they're going to make it out, because they barely made it out of the last one. So Marvel puts out a more clear statement on what they're going to do for comic book shops, which isn't very good. And by the way, it only is scheduled for March 18th through April 8th. That's not very long. So the most minimal possible they can do to help comic book shops, that's what they're doing. They're offering discounts, by the way. And then they point out that they already sell comic books cheap to these retailers, like kind of as a jab, like, look, we're already giving them a deal here. But nowhere in this do they offer returns. No returns, just discounts. That's it. Discounts for books that people can't come in and browse. So no one can walk in and browse these books. It's really going to be New Comic Book Day or bust. So, this isn't really helping anything. The way to help is to offer returns. Other comic book publishers are doing it. DC, by the way, I don't want to go too easy on them, because as far as I know, they're not offering any returns either. I think the usual select returns, but that's it. So we're going to get on them too. They're not helping much either. But I want to be clear. DC puts out better books right now, and better quality books. And not only that, they don't throw crap at a wall to see what's going to sell. You won't pick up a book and see cringe like this from DC. So I cut DC a little bit more slack, because they don't put stuff like this out. Marvel does. Marvel puts titles like this out multiple times a week. So it would be nice if they would offer some kind of discount, but they're not going to do, or a return, if they were to let them return this stuff, because these books don't sell. And because of the way Marvel does their books, like for that Spider-Woman book, you need to understand that they released 26 variant covers for that book. 26 different covers. There's probably large stacks of those sitting around. And I don't want to give the comic book shops total, no blame. I do want to blame them a little bit, because they still buy into the stuff. They'll still buy up 26 variant covers for this garbage comic book. Okay? That's a problem. And they haven't learned their lesson. But times are a little bit different right now. And Marvel should offer returnability, and they're not doing it. They're doing the bare minimum. This is like a GameStop release here. It's disgusting. And it's almost like they want to accelerate the demise of the comic book industry. It's almost like they want the comic book industry to fail at this point. And I really think they might get their wish, because I really don't think comics are going to make it through this year. Feel free to disagree with me. I don't think they're going to make it. We'll see what happens. But is not looking good for comics. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Give me your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think Marvel can survive the disaster? What do you think about them still dodging returnability, offering like a friggin' 2-week reprieve of discounts, and then they're going to go back to the way things were? What do you think about this garbage? What do you think about this Spider-Woman comic? What do you think about New Warriors, Children of the Atom? Give me your thoughts on that. I'm really saddened by what's going on right now, and, you know, it's going to be strange if I can't go into a comic book store on a Wednesday and buy comics. Been doing it for a long time, and, you know, I think that those days are numbered. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Throw a comment up, throw a like up, share the video, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.